Do you dare to play high-altitude glass walking? The Squid Game was too thrilling. In every step, players had to choose whether the glass beneath their feet was ordinary or tempered. A wrong choice could lead to a deadly fall. In the pursuit of the prize money, players had gone mad. If a player stood still, others might push them off. The final winner of this game would claim a massive prize of 45.6 billion Korean won. Before the suspension bridge game, the organizers conducted the fourth game of the Squid Game. Players were paired up freely in twos. Among the players, friends formed teams, preparing to defeat other groups. Unexpectedly, the rule was that each person got 10 marbles. Members within the team competed, and winning the opponent's marbles meant victory. The losers faced execution. Panic spread among the players when they realized that instead of fighting against other teams, they were to engage in internal strife. This was a deadly game of guessing marbles. Sang-woo was unlucky. Losing in the second and third rounds, Sang-woo was left with only one marble. Guessing wrong would lead to execution. Sang-woo went mad, accusing Henry of cheating. Henry was an honest person and denied any cheating. Sang-woo came up with a brilliant scheme. Knelt before Henry to evoke sympathy. He secretly used stones to switch all of Henry's marbles. Only before his death did Henry realize that the big brother he had always been grateful to had betrayed him. As the game nears its end, more people are dying. Meanwhile, the thief and Ji-young discussed their tragic pasts. The thief's father was shot and washed away by water, and her mother was deported to North Korea, missing ever since. The thief survived to care for his younger brother. Ji-young's story was even more tragic. Her father, a pastor, had been sexually assaulting her since childhood. In the end, he killed her mother. Ji-young sought revenge for her mother. Having lost all meaning to live, she deliberately lost all her marbles to the thief. The Squid Game was in progress. Tiger and his subordinates fell out, almost fighting for a chance to survive. Tiger threw his last marble and missed the hole, but his subordinate's marble hit Tiger's and sent it into the hole. Tiger won. Ji-hun and player number 1 also played the marble game. Ji-hun's luck was terrible, and he was about to lose. However, he used the excuse of player number 1's senility. Every time the old man won, Ji-hun claimed the old man had remembered wrong, and he had won the marbles instead. In order to survive, Ji-hun, conscience-stricken, won 9 marbles from the old man this way. At this point, the old man proposed using his last marble and going all in against Ji-hun, but Ji-hun said, "I have 19 but you only get 1. Aren't you cheating? Aren't you the one who kept cheating by taking my marbles?" This has made Ji-hun speechless. However, the old man still gave him the last marble. Ji-hun, having gathered 20 marbles, witnessed the old man being executed. This game of companions turning on each other came to an end. Everyone returned, and Mimi did not die, because she couldn't find a partner. She was exempt from this round. Now, there were only 17 players left, and the prize pool had soared to 43.9 billion Korean won. The saddest was player number 069. He won his wife's marbles in the game, and she was shot. Unable to bear the guilt, he hanged himself. Now, the organizers' distinguished guests had arrived. It turned out the entire game was live-streamed for the entertainment of wealthy viewers. The next game was about to begin. 16 people each chose a vest with a number, determining their order. Ji-hun got the last one, number 16, which surprisingly turned out to be fortunate. This was the most thrilling game of the Squid Game. High-altitude glass walking. From a 160-foot-high suspension bridge, players had to walk to the other side to pass. There were 18 pairs of glass underfoot, each pair consisting of ordinary and tempered glass. Choosing wrong meant falling to pieces. The walking order followed the sequence of vests. Starting with number 1, the first player stepped onto the first piece of glass. He did the right choice, but then fell to his death when taking the next step. Following his footsteps, the second player fell at the third piece of glass. The third player, clever, relied on his skill in water drifting, thinking that he could sprint to the other side before the glass reacted, and he did. Although the third player fell and died, he chose 3 correct pieces, making a contribution to others. The fourth player was a bit foolish, asking which piece the third player walked on just now. The fifth player informed him it was the one on the left. "I'm very sure of it. Never trust others in the Squid Game." After hearing what number 5 said, number 4 stepped on the left piece and immediately fell down. Number 5 sighed, saying, "Ah, it was actually the right one. I remembered it wrong." However, number 5 caused harm to others and also met a bad ending, choosing the wrong piece and falling down. At this moment, the glass bridge was crowded with people. Surprisingly, number 6 knelt on the ground, starting to plead with God. Wasn't this a waste of time? Number 7 jumped over and got into a fight with number 6. However, number 7's strength was lacking and was thrown out by number 6, smashing a piece of glass. Number 6 moved forward satisfied. While he was thanking God, Suddenly, number 8 rushed over and pushed number 6 forward. Number 6 also smashed a piece of glass. But number 8 was too early in celebrating. He rushed to the front and quickly fell as well. At this point, the situation on the suspension bridge was that the last player, number 16, Ji-hun, had also stepped onto the bridge. Number 9, Tiger, was at the very front. And there were still over 6 minutes left. Have you ever played such an exciting game? High-altitude glass walking, where choosing the wrong piece means falling to your death. Tiger was too domineering. He unexpectedly stopped in the middle of the bridge. He turned around and said, behind. Number 10 was arguing with Tiger. As a result, number 11 pushed him. It turned out that number 11 was Mimi. Mimi scolded Tiger as a coward and insisted on going first. Tiger naturally agreed. However, just as Mimi jumped over, she suddenly turned around and grabbed Tiger. Even Tiger's strength couldn't free himself. Mimi said, "Since I can't get across, you shouldn't think about it either." Tiger started sweating, shouting, "Let me go, you maniac." Mimi naturally didn't listen to him. And then the two of them fell. There were still over 2 minutes left. High-altitude glass walking was in progress. Number 13 was a master. He tightly clung onto the glass and used his whole body to feel the glass. By looking at the reflection colors of the glass, he could identify which one was ordinary glass and which one was tempered glass. It turned out number 13 had worked at a glass factory for a lifetime and could distinguish glass. Number 13 even chose 2 pieces of glass correctly. This dissatisfied the VIPs in the Squid Game. This was like cheating, and the pleasure of this game was lost. The organizer immediately dimmed the lights, making it difficult for number 13 to see. There were still 4 people on the bridge, with only 1 piece of glass left. Since number 13 couldn't see the glass reflection, he asked everyone to find something to hit the glass. He needed to listen to the sound of the glass. Ji-hun handed over the only marble. Time was running out. At this moment, Sang-woo unexpectedly did something sinister. The players in the Squid Game were too cunning. Seeing that time was running out, Sang-woo actually pushed number 13 down. With only a few seconds left, the remaining 3 players quickly ran over. Suddenly, the suspension bridge had a massive explosion. Glass shards splattered, and the thief's face was scratched. Ji-hun and the other 2 passed smoothly. Back after the game, Ji-hun questioned Sang-woo about why he killed number 13. Sang-woo got angry, saying, "How can I win the game without getting my hands dirty? I didn't ask you to get your hands bloody. You should be grateful." At this time, to celebrate the victory of the 3, they were invited for dinner by the organizers. In the dressing room, the thief found out that during the explosion, a large piece of glass had pierced her abdomen. The thief temporarily bound up the wound. The treatment for the 3 champions was steak and red wine. After hastily finishing their meal, they knew they were about to enter the final duel. So each hid a dining knife on them. In the resting room, Ji-hun's team had already fallen apart. This was the final showdown of the Squid Game. Out of 456 players, only these 3 survived. They were opponents, each holding a knife, leaning against the wall, taking a moment to rest. Ji-hun walked up to the thief, wanting to team up. The thief asked Ji-hun to take care of her younger brother if she died. Ji-hun only then realized that the thief was seriously injured. Ji-hun went to knock on the door to find someone for urgent help. However, when the door opened, what came in was a coffin. Ji-hun turned around to find that the thief had already been ambushed by Sang-woo and died. Ji-hun was furious, wanting to confront Sang-woo, but was stopped by the red-clothed person. The final deadly game began. The Squid Game. Ji-hun chose to be the attacker, and Sang-woo was the defender. The rule was that the attacker must enter the squid-shaped pattern and break through the defender. Stepping on the head of the squid meant victory, or if the defender pushed the attacker out of the squid pattern, the defender won. The Squid Game match began. Ji-hun secretly picked up some dirt. He hopped to the center, and Sang-woo came to intercept. Ji-hun tossed dirt in Sang-woo's face. Seizing the opportunity, Ji-hun passed through the center. Then the 2 started a fight. A fierce battle. In the end, Ji-hun gained the upper hand. Ji-hun could have ended Sang-woo with 1 stroke, but Ji-hun hesitated. Victory was within reach. Yet Ji-hun surprisingly suggested to Sang-woo to vote to interrupt the game. Sang-woo disagreed. He asked Ji-hun to take care of his old mother and then took his own life. Out of the 456 participants in the game, only Ji-hun remained. Ji-hun won the massive prize of 45.6 billion Korean won. Ji-hun woke up dumped on the roadside with a bank card beside him. Ji-hun withdrew 10,000 won. The card still had a balance of 45,599,990,000 won. Ji-hun returned home to find his mother had already passed away. Despite earning money, he couldn't afford to treat his mother. Maybe this just goes to show that We often plan to take care of our parents in their old age, but sometimes we lose them before we get the chance. This man participated in the Squid Game. Won 45,599,990,000 but lived a destitute life. He didn't spend that huge sum. 1 year later, he suddenly received a card from an organization. When he arrived at the location, Ji-hun discovered that it was number 1, the old man. It turned out he was the behind-the-scenes boss of the mysterious organization. Number 1 had cancer and was about to die. Ji-hun questioned Number 1 about why he created the game, causing the death of so many people. Number 1's answer was simple: just for the amusement of us wealthy people, nothing more. When participating in the game, he sought to enjoy the immersive experience before his death. When Number 1 died, they made a bet. The alcoholic downstairs who's nearly freezing to death. Would someone save him? Ji-hun won this bet, and then Number 1 died. After getting out, Ji-hun dyed his hair red. He entrusted the thief's younger brother to Sang-woo's old mother, and left a box full of money for both of them. He told Sang-woo's mother that it was the money he owed Sang-woo. This arrangement served as an reassurance for the thief and Sang-woo. In the subway, Ji-hun discovered that another man was recruiting new players for the Squid Game. It seemed the Squid Game was starting again. There was an even bigger boss within the organization. Ji-hun snatched the player's card and called directly. Ji-hun decided to stand against the organization. This is the end for Season 1. This review covered the finale of Squid Game. Question for this episode: did you find the Squid Game interesting? If you did, comment 111. If you didn't, comment 222. This is a great show and I recommend watching it. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. See you next time. Bye.